If a 3,868-pound all-wheel drive hybrid strikes you as a curious sequel to the original bantamweight NSX, you're not alone. As vehicle performance lead engineer Jason Widmer tells it, the initial prospect of a gas-electric NSX causes much hand-wringing within Honda's hallways as raised eyebrows outside them. In the early days of the new car, NSX mules consistently laid down faster laps without the battery electric assist system that was supposed to make the thing quicker. That was more than 5 years ago, and the NSX's hybrid electric system is now a fully developed piece of go-faster kit. The car rolling out of Marysville, Ohio, seamlessly combines 2 turbochargers, 3 electric motors, 4 driven wheels, 6 cylinders, and 9 forward gears to produce bona fide supercar performance. That won't make it any less controversial. There are an infinite number of ideas as to what a resurrected NSX should have been. The concept that won out is a rolling test bed for the future of performance technology. You will not find a car in this category in 10 years that won't have electrification. I'm confident on that, Widmer says. So are we. The NSX isn't the first of its kind to mesh electrons and hydrocarbons in the pursuit of speed, but give Acura credit for so rapidly democratizing the technology. Even with a starting price of $157,800, the NSX is hard evidence of the kind of trickle-down economics that actually works. Sacrificing a fraction of the performance and the pure electric driving capability of the 2015 Porsche 918 Spider netted Acura a $700,000 price cut for its mid-engined hero. Widmer may have been talking about McLarens, Lamborghinis, and Ferraris when he made his 10-year prediction, but the electrification of performance won't stop at supercars. Defying physics, the electrons are poised to flow into iconic performance cars where there's even more resistance. Hybridized 911s and BMW M3s are an eventuality, not just a possibility. This NSX is a preview of things to come. Our test car arrived with $11,860 worth of tire and brake upgrades. The base NSX wears iron brake rotors and less aggressive summer tires. For Acura, the hybrid system that supplements the 500 horsepower V6 plays perfectly to the character of the NSX, both old and new. Just like the original, the modern NSX is every bit as civilized as it is quick. The open sight leans, the wide cabin, and the seats that accommodate the average American are as notable in this class as are the electric motors that give it instant top-of-the-line thrust. It's a supercar without a god complex, as unpretentious as a car with an engine behind the driver and a 6-figure price on the window can possibly be. More than any other modern car, the NSX is a product of whichever of its 4 modes, Quiet, Sport, Sport Plus, and Track, is active at the moment. Along with the usual calibration tweaks to the electrically assisted steering, adaptive dampers, and stability control system, the NSX takes on a different persona depending on how it blends internal combustion and electric thrust. Not that sporty, sport mode, because there's nothing normal about a 573 horsepower, torquey vectoring, gas-electric mid-engined Acura. Engineers named the NSX's default street mode Sport. It strikes us as a misnomer, though, because getting the NSX to accelerate enthusiastically in this mode requires big, deliberate throttle inputs. It's best suited to urban settings, where the low-end torque of the electric motors, 2 up front and a 3rd, larger unit mated to the engine, pulls the NSX off the line faster than traffic, but without spinning the engine much beyond 3,000 revolutions per minute. The engine cover designer apparently grew up loving Jiffy Pop. The stiffer of the 2 suspension settings is a bit much for public road driving. The chassis is always awake even if the powertrain isn't. With $1,960 worth of Biley P0 Trafil tires gluing the wheels to the pavement, our test car faithfully transmitted every minute steering input to the road regardless of the mode. Even as the steering weight ramps up with the more aggressive settings, the NSX turns in with zeal and precision. Most impressive, the NSX never belies its weight, no matter how fast the speed or how sharp the corner. Turns feel effortless, and as long as the pavement is smooth, the body remains flat. That body is as much a hybrid as is the powertrain. It's made primarily of aluminium castings, stampings, and extrusions, but the A-pillars, roof beams, and windshield header are all made of steel, meaning there is more ferrous metal in the body of this NSX than in the 27-year-old original. The front floorboards are the only structural carbon fiber bits, although $21,600 will buy just enough carbon fiber to reskin the roof, engine cover, splitter, sills, diffuser, and spoiler as seen on our $202,960 test car. The outer panels are a mix of formed aluminium and molded plastics. Not that quiet mode, compared with the mild-mannered sport mode. Quiet mode is the self-facing, almost apologetic way to pilot a low-slung, Valencia red pearl painted origami supercar through a crowd. It kills the V6 whenever possible. It is not, however, a truly silent mode. The engine still fires when you start the car in quiet mode, though it revs only as high as the 1,500 revolutions per minute fast idle and sounds as fierce as a Honda Odyssey minivan warming its catalysts. Once the powertrain is hot, quiet mode largely behaves like an aggressive stop-start system. If you were expecting to slice through town with the swift, mute moves of a Tesla, you'd be disappointed. With a small lithium-ion battery pack, Acura will only say its capacity is approximately 1 kWh and less than a Honda Civic's worth of horsepower from the electric motors. The NSX rarely gets above walking speed without firing the engine. It prefers to ride the 3.5-litre V6 to cruising speed and then sail on electrons up to 50 miles per hour when the road is flat or downhill. Quiet mode doesn't soften the suspension or lighten the steering. It's merely a dimmer switch for the gas engine, shifting more work to the electric motors and exercising the battery harder. The NSX rebuts any attempts to drive hard in this mode. It disables the paddle shifters and causes the transmission to short shift at 4,000 revolutions per minute when the accelerator is pegged. And while quiet mode turns down the volume both inside and outside the car by closing the exhaust bypass valves and the intake resonator pipe, it hardly feels tranquil from the driver's seat. The constant on-off-on of the engine quickly becomes tiresome. Let's cut right to the hyperbole. The 2017 Chevrolet Camaro SS1 is a rolling manifestation of Bruce Springsteen's most celebratory lyrical fairy tale. The all-American boy with a nose for trouble finds his way by means of a push-odd fate-powered muscle car with a weary but naturally beautiful girl in the passenger seat. Born from the same humble two-door coupe blueprint that launched the Camaro 50 years ago, it's the everyman Super Camaro, a 455 horsepower, apex-graving monster that rings in with a $44,400 base price, $6,500 for the SS1 Performance package on top of $37,900 for the 1SS Coupe. That's $16,435 less dear than the expected $62,135 sticker for the 2017 Camaro ZL1, and it will likely undercut the price of the upcoming 2018 Camaro Z28 by even more. While we're talking matters of finance, the only other option on our test car was a performance data recorder for $1,300. Which brought the as-tested price to $45,700. It may not be free, but it's at least attainable for most aspiring part-time track rats.